Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. A very good morning to all the viewers. I'm Hiral Dadia. Clearly, if you see in terms of where markets go, we are at 18,841 as we speak. In fact, we started off. However, now we are trading below the 18,800 mark with cuts of almost 0.2% coming in there. Even Bank Nifty is on the downward hill, or a little over 250 points is the kind of cuts that we are seeing at the day's lowest levels. Overall, if you see in terms of markets, L&T, Titan, Bajaj Twins, DVs are a few of the top gainers, whereas Kotak, Axis, IndusInd, as well as Adani Enterprises and ports are trading under pressure. A lot of stock-specific action is what we are seeing. A lot of newsmakers in trade today. Sonam Srivastava, founder of Wright Research, joins us. Sonam, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So now my first question coming to you is, let's start with the Bharti Airtel. $1 billion, fund infusion is what they are looking at. And what reports are suggesting so far is that they would be spending some part of it in terms of capex for 5G and the other part in terms of refinancing debt. What's your view on a Bharti Airtel?
Definitely. So the stock Bharti Airtel has achieved, I think, consistent buying over the last week, right? This news of 1 billion, fundraise via bond issue seems to have excited investors. Today we are seeing some correction, right? But on the overall level, I think it's exciting news for the company. But we have to share how do the debt ratios for the company pan out after this particular bond-based fundraise. And I think the company is going with a bond issuance, I think primarily because the rates are very high right now. And that helps the company, I think. Uh, on the other hand, the company is looking to expand the 5G network and launch 5G across India. So, a lot of exciting news coming up for Bharti Airtel. So, I think we should be, following this stock a little bit closely right from these levels.
Right. So that's with regards to Bharti Airtel. Moving on, Grasim is in focus as well. In fact, the entire cement pack has seen a good run in the last 1 month. Overall, if you see in terms of where Grasim goes, Lubrizol has set to begin work on CPVC resin plant in Gujarat, and they would be doing this in JV with Grasim. What's your view on a Grasim, and from a valuation perspective, what would you advise an investor to do?
Definitely. So I think, cement stock have been at a bottom for some time, right? We had been looking for cement stock for some time, but I think right now the time is quite exciting for the cement sector, primarily because, the commodity prices are at the all-time low. Coke has corrected a lot, uh, you know, uh, crude has corrected a lot, and, there's a lot of correction in commodity prices that helps the cement stocks. And then on the other hand, you can see that the government capex expenditure is coming up at a very rapid pace. Private capex is also increasing. So, Grasim also has a huge demand lined up. And along with the deal that you mentioned, which is getting the Lubrizol, which is a modern back company, I think it's exciting news for Grasim. So I think that's why the stock is buzzing right now. And, we are, looking at the cement sector quite sharply. I think, there is a worry of the recovery in China raising the commodity prices back up. But because of the high interest rates, I don't think that that's going to impact commodity prices too much. So we have to watch that piece a lot before we take a call on the cement sector. But right now, given the commodity situation, it looks exciting. And we see good earning number coming from sector, right?
Moving on, you have a Nykaa, which is in focus as well. They did have analyst meet, and clearly a couple of trends that are emerging is that they're looking at new launches, they're looking at premiumization, additions to their own portfolio is something which could be margin accretive for the business as well. From a valuation perspective, what would you advise an investor to do with a Nykaa?
Definitely. So I think Nykaa is one of the new age companies, which hasn't rallied as much as the others, right? So if you look at Paytm and if you look at Zomato, they have rallied a lot in the past few months, whereas Nykaa has sort of lagged. In that rally, I think the news coming out of Nykaa that it's going for premiumization and it's going to expand, high revenue and high margin businesses should be a positive on its profitability. But I think, when looking at these new age companies, we always have to focus on the numbers, right? So the profitability number that comes out each quarter, or how they have managed their business to move toward profitability. I think that will be the most key governing news that can help these businesses. And if they deliver on that front, like Paytm and Zomato did last quarter, it's a tremendous opportunity, given that these are massive businesses who can turn into earning compounders, price compounders, if they can pivot toward profitability. So that's my call on Nykaa.
Right. Between a Titan and a Kalyan Jewelers, Sonam, which one would you prefer from a valuation perspective? Because Kalyan
Right.
overall is one of the second best in terms of the jewelry segment.
Yes. So if we compare Titan and Kalyan Jewelers, I think Titan sort of wins on the market size. They have a huge market capitalization. They have a huge reach compared to Kalyan Jewelers. Kalyan Jewelers is a little bit smaller if you compare it with Titan. But if you look at valuation, Kalyan seems to win by a huge margin. The Titan valuations are, if you look at the P ratio, they are somewhere around 80, and Kalyan is still at 30. The price to book value ratio for Titan is again, quite high compared to Kalyan. So uh, that makes Kalyan extremely interesting in terms of valuations. I think the recent news also that came out of Kalyan, that it is going to, go into the franchisee business and expand its pan India reach by a big number in the coming year, makes it quite exciting. I think the recent month has been quite fascinating for Kalyan Jewelers. It has outpaced Titan. So, on the valuing perspective, I think Kalyan is exciting. We have a lot of good news coming out of Kalyan as well. And, jewelry stocks as a whole are going to give us, quite good numbers in the next quarter.
Right. And so now, very lastly, if you have to see the aviation basket, Indigo recently in the
Yes.
month of May itself clocked little over 60% in terms of market share. Number two, now
Right.
we're talking about a deal that could be announced at the Paris Air Show with regards to Airbus. What's your view on Indigo?
Yeah, so I think Indigo has been on the news quite a lot recently. They are, going to close one of the biggest deals, bigger than the Tata deal, by buying 500 Boeing aircrafts in the Paris air show. They have captured a lot of go first market share after the go first, correction that happened. We've seen Indigo expand its reach pan India, and in the airline industry as a whole expand massively, and Indigo holds a significant portion of it. The operational margin remained quite strong, and I think uh, I think the operation of the company is the key here, right? That's been going quite strong. But I think Indigo is the favorite in the airline sector, and given that this airline industry is growing, I think it would be a good bet from here. But we have to understand that airline is a tricky business where maintaining margin is crucial, because they tend to operate in a domestic low cost airline segment. So that would be something to watch out for. But airline industry seems quite point at the moment. Indigo is the largest stakeholder there.
Right, so that's with regards to where Indigo goes. Thank you, Sonam, so much for speaking to us at BQ Prime and discussing those stocks that have been in the newsmakers of the day. Thank you. Stay safe and speak to you soon again. Thank you, Sonam.